This photograph of me that I'm working on at the moment is actually an old photograph. I took it not at my lowest, but as I felt strong enough to come out of it. And I just had a notion one night to go take the photograph. I had this in my mind that I needed it, and I wanted to start this process. So I came in here, must have been around 2 a.m, set the camera up, and this was the first shot I took. I went to the mirror one day and I didn't recognize my own face, and it scared me, like terrified me. So much so that I was taking pictures of my face to see maybe it was a problem with the mirror. And then I sent the picture to a friend of mine and I was like, is there something wrong with my face? Has my face changed? I feel like I don't know who this person is. And she got a bit freaked out as well, and she started looking up, possible symptoms or whatever was going wrong with me. And it turns out it's a thing. It's a thing that a lot of people go through after periods of stress and trauma in their life. It's called depersonalization disorder, and it's where you just, for different people it comes through in different ways, but for me I couldn't recognize my face. What it is essentially is a self-portrait. It's a picture of me, and I've printed it twice. Then what I've done is I have guillotined, torn shreds off myself. I chopped one of them in vertical strips, 1 centimetre wide strips, and then I sliced the other one. And even that process alone was very strange when you're tearing strips out of your own head. And then I lay them down on top of each other, or as close as I could get to being on top of each other, so that my head they'd match on either side. I am painstakingly weaving them together. It's painstakingly slow. But there's almost a beauty in how slow you have to be with this, because when you get dumped or heartbroken, or when you're going through a really bad period or a period of grief, there's this kind of urge to work through it. People throw themselves into their work, and I would definitely be one of those people. And so you're keeping your mind off your broken heart a bit by doing all that work. So when I was picking the size of my strips, I intentionally went as small as I possibly could, because I wanted this to take time. I wanted there to be strength in the weave, and for people to just kind of understand how long it can take to work through something, whether you're working through something physical like this, or whether you're working on yourself and putting yourself back together again. It can take an enormous amount of time. And for something to be done right, it should take time. And I think there's beauty in the fact that the ups are always followed by a down. So whichever one has gone over, the next one goes under and over and under, and there's a lot to be said for that. I'm a firm believer in life having upswings and downswings. And if you're currently feeling a little bit down, then don't worry, because it won't last forever. There's an upswing on the way. When you get 2 pieces of paper like this that are so incredibly fragile, and when you basket weave them together, they become immeasurably stronger than the original piece of paper. It'll be very hard to tear it apart. Now, I know that the image will never be perfect again, but I think there's beauty in that as well. I have sourced this beautiful 24 karat gold Japanese embroidery thread, and I'm going to double stitch all the way around the edge of this frame so that it can't unravel again. So I didn't really know how precise this was going to be. So even as I'm pulling it together now, I'm quite interested to see how my eyes are lining up. And I'm wondering if I'll be recognizable at all at the end of it. I will be a different version of myself at the end of this. Whether I'll be a better one or not, I don't know, but I'm certainly stronger.